Good morning, everyone. So in our last class, we have successfully uploaded the resume for Amit and Babji. I think Anil and Babji. So in today's class, we are going to display the records. Records means we display the attachments of these employees in the form of records, means table, tabular form. And in the table, we are going to keep a download button so that they can download whatever the resume they want. So let me show you how this will appear. I'm just opening already a developed application. Employee management application. So let me randomly take few people here. So if you take this Rupesh, he has these many attachments and we can show them in a table form, and we can give the download button to download whatever the file you want to download. So this is what exactly we are going to develop now. Right. So to develop this, I want to just recap how we already developed displaying the projects of a particular employee. So if you take here, Amit has one project and Anil has 2 project experience, and I don't think for others, yeah, so Babji also have 3 project experience. So I think I have kept only those. For Vijay, I don't think I created anything, and Deepali also. Yeah. So similar to that, we are going to create a new tab, and in the new tab, we are going to display the attachments, nothing but the resumes of each employee. Now let us get into the development details, how we able to achieve this. So if you remember, the URL to get one employee data is employee set of a particular employee ID. Now to get the project details of this particular employee, so if you remember, we have written slash and then 2 projects. So when you write slash and then 2 projects, you will get the project information of that particular employee. And even in the view 2, let me open the view 2. So in the view 2, you can clearly see for this particular table, the items is binded to the 2 projects, which is the navigation property. Since employee set of 100001, which is already binded to the view 2 controller, so sorry, view 2 from its controller. So line number 15, you can see this .getView.bind element. So using the bind element, we already binded this one. Okay. And then for the table, we just binded only the navigation property. So what is 2 projects here? It's a navigation property. So that's why even if I change the employee ID, so this 100002 and then slash 2 projects gives the project information of 100002. So let me just recap what's happening here. First of all, what is 2 projects? 2 projects is a navigation property. What is 2 projects? It's a navigation property. So how a navigation property will come? Navigation property will come because of a association that you create. So here, this particular 2 projects is a result of an association that we created, and the association name is employees 2 projects. So if you go and search where is this employees 2 projects, so here it is. The association clearly saying the relation between the employee and the project entity. For every one employee, there can be star number of projects associated with him. So this relation we have created. So once you create an association, and if you define, if you write this particular employee set of one particular employee, and then slash the navigation property, so this will take the execution to a method, and that is the child entity get entity set method. So here slash two projects, so which is the relation between employee and project. So since it is saying one employee, so this is already one employee, and this employee can have star number of projects, so it goes to the project set underscore get entity set method. So this will go and call project set underscore get underscore entity set method. So why it is calling get entity set method? Because of this star. Star means multiple records. The project, one employee can have multiple projects. So to bring the multiple projects, obviously it has to call the get entity set method. So whereas if you define 1:1 relation, means one employee will have only one project, then in that case, OData framework is an intelligent mechanism. So since here also it is one means single record. So single record means it will go and call project set underscore get entity method. Okay, right. So we have written the logic inside project set underscore get entity set method. So let me log in and show you. If you go to the SEGW and let's go to the DPC extension class. Now let's go down to our methods, project set underscore get underscore entity set method. Where is this? Yep, project set underscore get entity set method. So what we have done here, so we have simply written the logic, that is, so we read the primary key, and then once you have the primary key, you can simply write select start from the projects table where employee ID is this. That's all. If you are not getting the primary key, then we are selecting all the projects. So this will help you when if the user is directly hitting your service URL slash project sets. Okay. So when they are hitting project set, they should get all the projects, right? Irrespective of any employee, they should get all the projects. So how this is working? This is working because of the else statement. Okay, we don't have any primary key in that case, so we need to return all the projects. So now, so we understood how we develop the project scenario. Now same thing we need to develop here. So with one more tab, we'll see, we'll showcase this particular tab with a attachment icon. So here also I need to display the table only, but the table will contain the resumes of an employee, just like the projects of the employee. So the other tab will contain resumes of the employee. So to display the projects, we created an association between employee and projects. So now we need to create an association between employee and resumes with 1:n relationship. So let's do that. So let's, I think we can go back here. Let me copy this code because anyway we are going to write a similar code here. Let's copy this, go back. Now to create an association between employee and projects, so right click, create association. The association is between employee to projects. primary entity name, principal entity name is employee, dependent entity name is project, and the relation is one employee can have star number of, sorry, this is not projects, this is resume. So child entity is resume and one employee can have n number of resumes. Okay, let's give the navigation property as 2 resumes. So that the naming convention, we start with the 2 and then the child entity name, 2 resumes. So let's click next. Association name already, sorry, this name is not employees to projects, it is employees to resumes. So that's why it has given the error. So employee resume, so everything is fine. Now click next. So dependent property is again employee ID. Obviously basing on employee ID only we can pull the resume information. So whose resumes it belongs to. So click next and finish and generate the runtime objects. Yeah, runtime objects got generated. So any change in the data model, if you refresh your metadata document, so you should find in your metadata, so you can see the navigation property 2 resumes here and the relationship is employees to resumes. And if you go here to the relationship, so here it is employees to resume and you can see one employee can have star number of resumes. Okay, fine. So in place of 2 projects, if I write 2 resumes now, this will go and call resume set underscore get underscore entity set. So you can see it is calling resume set underscore get underscore entity set. Now let's go and implement the method. So I'm going to the DPC extension class. And let's go down for the resume underscore get underscore entity set. This is the one. Select the method and redefine it. Now let us remove this and paste the previous code. Now what I need to do, I need to get this employee ID, so this one. And if this employee ID is there, then select start from, not from the projects table, but from the resumes table into ET entity set where employee ID is this. Otherwise get all the resumes. Okay, so activate it. All right. Now if I refresh this, so this will show the resume information of 100002. So you can see the file name is Anil underscore UI5. File type is this one and file content is this one. Anyway, we can't use this file content. So we'll display only employee ID, file name. So these two are enough. File type is also not required. So these 2 columns we are going to display in the table now, in the front end, right? And the table will be binded to 2 resumes. So let's go to the view to copy this icon tab filter. And yeah, so let's copy this and paste one more. And for the new icon tab filter, let us give the icon as attachment. And in place of 2 projects, you need to write 2 resumes. And let's have only 3 columns. So column number 1 employee ID, column number 2 is file name, and that's enough. So these 2 columns are enough. So employee ID and then file name. format document. Alright, now let us see the output, whether we can able to display the resumes of a particular employee or not. Now you can see this is Amit. So Amit's basic data, Amit's project information, and this is Amit attachment. There are no attachments that we added to Amit. So let's go back and check for Anil. So for Anil, we have attached his profile CV, and that is Anil_UI5. And for Babji, I remember we uploaded 2 resumes. So let's go back. Babji, you should get 2 records here. Yes, you are getting 2 records here. Now we need to create a download button as a 3rd column. So let's create one more column. And in the column, I'm going to keep a download button. So it's a download. And here in this column, I need a button. So I will write the button with an icon, SAP icon :// So let's keep a red color for this and press equal to on press download. Download resume. Okay. Alright, now let's have a look at the output window again. So let's go to the 3rd tab, so which is attachments tab. Now we got the download button for both of them. Now when you click on this button, the corresponding file should get downloaded. So we already know downloading, uploading. So downloading means which method it has to call. Download means it has to call get stream. For uploading, which method it has to call? Create stream. Okay. So downloading is the easiest thing from the front end. Okay. So the most easiest thing is downloading in entire SAP UI5. Because you don't need to do anything, you just need to call the URL. So let me just remind you how we downloaded the image. When I click on the image, so if you remember, we just calling the $value URL. The $value URL is the one which will go and call the get stream function. So what is the URL? Your base URL and then /SAP/OPU/OData, your service, and then so here it is we need to download the photo, so you need to write photo set and within the round brackets employee ID, so whose photo you want to download, so because this is the primary key, and then /$value, right? Now let us see the URL that we need to trigger to download a resume. Okay, so I'm taking the base OData service URL and then /, so which entity set I need to keep? I need to keep the resume set because it belongs to the resumes. So copy the resume set. The resume set within the round brackets, so which record, which file I need to download. So in this case, we are passing the employee ID. The reason is employee ID is the primary key for photo entity. So if you see the photo entity has employee ID as a primary key. Okay, so whose photo I need to download? So I need to download this particular employee ID's photo. Now similarly, if you see for resume, the resume does not have a single primary key, but it has 2 primary keys. When you have multiple primary keys, you need to mention both the primary keys within the round brackets. Let us see how. So we need to write round brackets first and then the primary key name, that is employee ID, and then equals to single quotes 1000002 employee ID, and then comma the second primary key, so which is file name, equals to, and then single quotes the file name which you want to download as well. So because one employee has multiple files, so which file you want to download. So that also you need to mention. For example, I want to download, this is 100,003, right? Okay, so let's take the same in the example 100,003 and file name is babji_SAP UI5.pdf. So I kept the same file name babji_SAP UI5.pdf and then /$value. So this particular URL we need to hit. So let me keep it here. Now when you hit this URL, obviously this particular file should get downloaded because this will go and call getStream function. And in the getStream function, the logic is already written. Okay, now I'm hitting enter. Nothing is happening. We'll see whether it gets downloaded or not. Otherwise, we'll debug. So this is under still the download is happening. Is that CR download? So let me try one more file. abap.pdf/$value. Employee ID is 100,003. File name is this. Okay, let's try. So it is saying insecure download blocked. Okay, this is because of my system settings. Yeah, so now it got downloaded. Okay, so there is no problem with the coding. The problem is my computer settings. So this same file you got in the download as well. Okay, right. So we just need to call this particular URL when you click on the download button. So this button. Now there are two files and the download button is against each row. So when you click on this download button, you need to find out from which row you click this download button. So this is a little similar to we implemented the dynamic table, right, for adding projects, and we kept a delete button in each row. So when you click on the delete button, you need to find out in which row it is, right? So similar to that. Now let's write the code for on-press download regime. Yeah. So basically the code is same. So same 3 lines code you need to write here as well. But previously we just need only employee ID within this round brackets, but this time we also need not only employee ID, we need the file name as well. Okay, right. So employee ID you can get it like this, no problem. But how do you get the file name? So let me ask you, how do we get the file name when you click on this particular button? Can anybody tell me, when I click on this button, how do I get this file name? When I click on this button, how do I get this file name? Anyone?
From get source.
Okay. So let me try. So variable, this is file name, right? So file name equals to get source is function on which object?
It's on this dot.
It is on OEvent object.
Event, okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
even if it's a button, even it is anything, whenever some action happened, every action, remember not only this action, any action while calling this particular function, it will send OEvent as a parameter. Okay. So whether to use it or not, it depends on the use case. It depends on the scenario. So in this scenario, we need it. So we'll write OEvent.getSource. So can you tell me OEvent.getSource means what? And it points to what in this scenario? OEvent.getSource means what?
Where the click was done, the UI element on which the click.
It points to the array of that row.
No.
Binding context.
No. See, simple guys, OEvent.getSource means OEvent means action. Action.getSource means who is the source which caused this particular action. So obviously if you are clicking this button, that button becomes OEvent.getSource. If you are clicking this button, then this button becomes OEvent.getSource. Okay, see, OEvent.getSource meaning is source of your event or action. Source UI element. The definition, exact definition is source UI element of this action. So when I say OEvent.getSource, I will get the button. But what I will do with the button? I can't do anything with the button, right? Yes or no? What I will do with the button? I can't do anything with the button. Anybody? I got the button, that is fine. But after the button, can I do something?
You need to get the index of that particular row.
Okay, so let's say I got the index. So after getting the index, what I can do?
We can get the file name of that particular row.
No, to get the file name, what is the need of index? We have, see, previously we need the index because we need to delete the row from the dynamic table. So let me show you.
Yeah, but index
So
let us
here,
know.
we need the index because we need to delete this row from the array. So that's why we need the index. But here I don't need any index.
But we should know which file we have to download, right?
First we want to bind the entire row.
The row is already binded. My point is, now when you write OEvent.getSource, you got the button. Okay, so you got the button, very happy. But what we will do with the button? So you are saying you will get the index. Okay, so you, first of all, you have not mentioned how do you get the index, but anyway, so let's say even though you got the index, what you will do? You can't do anything with the index. If you want any data from the row,
let's get binding.
If you want any data from the row, you need to depend on what? Binding context. Binding context of the row, because the binding context is nothing but the data that is binded to that row. So you need to get the binding context of the row. But to get the binding context of the row, I need to reach the row first. If I have the row, then I can write my row dot get binding context. But I am at the button level. How can I reach to the row? Anybody? Okay. So OEvent.getSource means button dot get parent. So if you write get button dot get parent, so who is the parent for the button? Row only. So if you see this button dot get parent means column list item. What is column list item? Row of a table. What is column is straight on? It's a row of a table. So if I write oEvent.getSource, it gives me the button that you clicked. From the button, I am saying get parent to get the parent UI element. So who is the parent UI element? Nothing but the button is present where? The button is present in the row. So once you have the row in your hand, now there is no worries. I can write get binding context. Get the binding context. Dot get property. So which property you want? You want the file name. That's all. Okay. So similarly, you can get the employee ID also from this, from the same row, because we have the employee ID also. But employee ID is already binded to the, so here, so we are getting from the view itself. We can also read the employee ID from the row. It is already available. Okay. But even this is also fine because the entire view also binded with the employee ID. So anything is fine. Now I'm going to copy paste this URL. So this is the URL that we need to call. So /SAP/OPU /SAP/OPU/OData your service/resume set. And now the employee ID should be replaced with the variable. Copy, paste. And then file name should be replaced with a variable. So remove this and paste it. So whenever you have the variables, you need to use my shortcut, that is the concatenation operator. So in JavaScript, the concatenation operator is plus. So how do you handle? So you need to give plus on both sides of the variable and then double quotation on both sides of plus. So that's a shortcut you need to remember. So again, this is a variable. So you need to give plus on both sides of the variable and you need to give double quotation on both sides of plus. So most of the people get confused. So that's the reason I have given this shortcut. Keep the variable first hard-coded value, and hard-coded value to be removed with a variable. On both sides of the variable plus symbol. Again, double quotation on both sides. That's all. So you trigger the URL and it will get downloaded. Now let us test. So I'm clicking here and then let me delete these two resumes which got downloaded using direct URL, not from SAP UI5. Now let me click on Babji_SAP UI5 and you can see